Well, hi everybody, welcome to Afterburner. I'm Bill Whittle. Well, there's been a lot of comment about the artist formerly known as Hannah Montana, squeaky clean teen sensation Miley Cyrus, who for years gave young girls a fun, harmless, and for Disney, extremely profitable role model. Now, a few nights ago on MTV's Video Music Awards, a somewhat older Miley Cyrus made a splash as a new kind of role model, although this time not one likely to get the lucrative Disney endorsement. Cyrus seemed to lower the bar on lewdness and indecency, a performance fairly shocking even in this hard-to-shock culture. From the costumes to the gestures to the dancing, it really was quite a show, even without the contrast to her pop princess persona of just a few years ago. And it did seem to lower the bar even further. The cultural bar set low a generation ago by similarly shock-oriented Madonna, who, I might add parenthetically, might want to do a little research into the law of diminishing returns. And of course, the most recent wearer of the meat tiara, Lady Gaga, who has taken shock and, for most teenagers, awe to entirely new levels. So, what's going on here? I mean, in terms of the big picture. Well, before we get too lathered up about all of this, a very smart, very astute young friend of mine had the cultural perspective to point out that when this is all said and done, these three women are multi-millionaire capitalists who are very effectively using our social outrage to move product, lots of product. There's not a record budget on planet Earth that can buy the sea of ink that Miley Cyrus has benefited from in the past week, and when you're selling to people who value rebellion above all else, the sight and sound of mom, dad, and especially we conservative squares getting all bug-eyed and apoplectic sounds just like this. Ka-ching! Now, that may not make things seem any better culturally, especially if you have daughters in that dangerous age period between, say, I don't know, 4 and 40, but at least it gives you some sense of what drives this kind of thing. But there is a deeper issue here, I think, because we've seen this kind of thing before, and not with like a Virgin video. There have been many periods where what we would today call pop culture has really degenerated into the grotesque. And the most interesting one to me was the period between the wars in 1930s Germany. Racked by the depression, the cultural shame of the loss of the Great War, the sense of betrayal, and most especially by the financial and moral whippings administered by the Treaty of Versailles, pop culture in 1930 Germany was astonishingly grotesque, even by modern standards. There was pop sensation Anita Berber, usually performing at the White Mouse Cabaret, and who, in the words of Churchill historian William Manchester, danced naked, mainlined cocaine and morphine, and made love to men and women sprawled atop bars, bathed in spotlights, while voyeurs stared and fondled one another. Anita was dead by 29, so by then was the Weimar Republic. We'll talk about what the Weimar Republic was replaced with in just a moment. But Berber was just an exhibitionist and a shock jock. The real genius, the real pulse of the era, took the form of the remarkable duo of composer-lyricist Kurt Weill and his partner, the astonishing, sultry, and iconic Lotte Lenya. Now, as the result of having spent many years working for a certifiable genius by the name of Jack Horkheimer, I was exposed in my mid-teens to this dark, dystopian, and depressing music. Songs of despair, songs of hopelessness, and war as cannibalism filled those cabarets. Their masterpiece might have been a song called Lost in the Stars, where Lenya sings of all of the human struggle, all hopes and aspirations, as just being a mote of dust flung out into a godless abyss, pointless, aimless, and utterly irrelevant. Now, if you listen to the music of Kurt Weill and Lotte Lenya just for an hour, then the rise and mindless brutality of the Nazis becomes not only understandable, but inevitable. But Kurt Weill and Lotte Lenya, Anita Berber, and all the others didn't bring about the Nazis. I think that has it exactly backwards. And I think we have it backwards too when we lament what Miley Cyrus is doing to our culture. The question we should be asking is, what is our culture doing to Miley Cyrus? What's in the air, the zeitgeist, that turns someone from Hannah Montana into a kind of pathetically desperate, absurdly sexualized, insatiable attention junkie? Well, we know. It is, as in the case of 1930s Germany, a culture whose elites, unlike the solid, sensible middle, are bored, jaded, and above all filled with a self-loathing and self-hatred that can be described as nothing less than a death wish. And as the art becomes more and more grotesque, It's not the cause, but rather the symptom of a bomb whose fuse has grown very short and whose explosion and counterpoint has not been, nor is likely to be, something that we are going to enjoy.